so far to harbor life. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand.
Last round, Austin. This time, what I want everyone to take note of is his inability to reconsider his position. He doesn't realize it, but Flat Earth has trapped him. Since the root of his psychosis is wanting to feel superior to those around him, he doesn't know how to swallow his pride and admit he's wrong. I want everyone to keep that in mind as we dissect the last 15 minutes of his livestream. So, when we last left off, Austin was legitimately imagining things. No, really.
When you were 5 years old, you didn't think it made sense either. They were like, hey, this is what you live on. And 5-year-old you was like, what are you talking about, crazy person? We would fall off the bottom. And she's like, no, silly, gravity.
This is a conversation that never happened. In order to justify his own cult beliefs, WitsIt had to invent an entire imaginary timeline of his own childhood education. That isn't how this works. There is no Globe 101 class. There is no point at which the teacher told everyone, here's the planet, it's what you live on. The fact of the matter is, this goes to show how very certain we are that the Earth is a sphere. It's baked into everything we learn about. They don't have to tell you what the shape the Earth is, because literally everything we learn about it can only work if the Earth is a sphere. Alright, let's move on.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's literally no proof. And then Globers will go as far as to tell you that boats are obstructed from the bottom up because of the physical curvature of the Earth. But we have literally disproven that. And any of the top people that argue and debate the globe Earth, they have now...
Austin, buddy, take a fucking breath. Finish a sentence before you start another one. Seriously, dude, you give me such a headache. As for boats going over the horizon, still a thing. You haven't disproven that at all. Cue the yodeling.
Detach themselves from the physicality of the geometric horizon being visible. I've debated a dude named Kosho. He's gone as far as to say the geometric horizon is a physical location that we don't expect to see. So,
well, I don't know about that dude you debated, but here's what I know. There is no horizon on a flat Earth. The horizon, both apparent and geometric, are a direct result of the Earth's curvature and wouldn't appear the way they do otherwise. So I don't know what you're going on about, WitsIt. Boats go over a horizon that only exists because the Earth don't flat, dude.
For 5 years now, I've been looking into the Earth, and for 5 years I've heard globe earthers say that boats disappear because of the curve of the Earth, and now they're all acting like they haven't said that for 5 years, and they're admitting that it doesn't.
Citation needed. Show me one globe earther, aka person living in reality, who denies that boats go over the horizon. You are straight up lying, Austin.
That is simply because the horizon is an optical phenomenon. It's nothing more than an illusion. It's where the sky appears to meet the ground. It fluctuates based on observer height and atmospheric conditions. There is nothing physical about it whatsoever, and we've disproven and falsified the necessitation of a geometric horizon based on the claim of a radius.
No, you haven't. Since you didn't provide any proof that you did, I don't need any proof that you didn't. Next.
So there you go. Yeah, guys, you don't live on a magic spinning ball. It's just preposterous. You didn't evolve from apes. It's equally as preposterous. And
Argument from incredulity again, fallacy boy. I don't care if you think it's preposterous. Prove it wrong.
I think evolution will probably go down in history as one of the dumbest postulations ever.
Ah, yes, because it makes so much more sense that a magical sky wizard spat on some dirt and then crafted a snow globe for it to live in. But yeah, heliocentrism and evolution are the preposterous ideas, sure.
Right next to this fantasy depiction of where you live. So, maybe you should swallow your pride and re-examine your worldview as opposed to having it crafted by people that have something to gain by lying to you.
IMAX couldn't even handle the amount of projection you just threw out there, WitsIt. Seriously, your alternative of a religious creation myth is also dependent on the men who created it and the profit that's created by it. According to a Georgetown University study, religion generates $1.2 trillion of revenue every year. Why don't you swallow your pride, Austin, and accept that your entire worldview is a con job.
You're not allowed to go within 500 miles in each direction of the North Pole, and you're not allowed to privately traverse the South Pole, also known as Antarctica, which we don't fully know the true characteristics of, because we can't go there.
Everything he just said is a lie. Likely having parroted this from his flirt masters, Austin never looked into it and realized you absolutely can traverse both poles. Travel restrictions are not travel bans, that's not how this works. There is nothing wrong with people wanting to know you're prepared for a dangerous journey, especially if they're the ones who will be rescuing your sorry ass when it turns out that you're not ready.
We cannot freely, privately explore Antarctica. You're not allowed to go and bring external fuel supply or water or mechanic equipment. You're subject to being monitored. You can only go on a approved guided tour, and you can be stopped by force if you violate any of those terms and conditions.
And yet, despite all of those restrictions, some of which WitsIt lied about, people have done it. I don't care what the rules are when people have fucking done it.
Clarkson! I know it's you, you insufferable oaf. I'm on the bloody throne.
We are now the most northern people in the world. Apart from Michael Parkinson, obviously.
Even though, of course, they don't own the earth, God does, and God made you with the inherent free right to be able to travel this earth and traverse it however you feel the need. But of course, they think that they somehow have rights over you. So,
oh, fuck your magic sky daddy, WitsIt. I don't care. Once again, you're free to travel wherever you want. You are not free to damage and destroy whatever you want, which is what your ignorant ass would end up doing if it wandered into one of the most untouched ecosystems on the planet.
I find it a bit odd that people run around defending oppression from tyrannical positions whenever they're the ones also being oppressed, as if these tyrannical leaders retained you as a defense attorney. It's pretty crazy.
I don't even know what he's on about here. Trying to buy the SJW vote or something? Let me hit you with some hard-to-swallow pills, boy. Every single person in the history of mankind has been oppressed in some way. The Oppression Olympics are a shitty game to play, so just don't. It's a war game that nobody wins.
Brilliant way of saying that you understand the world at a 5-year-old's level. This is all you'll ever get from Globe Earthers, just very low IQ remarks completely void of any substantive specificity.
Where's the lie, though?
And it's sad, but that's all you'll ever get. So, and I just explained this pretty rudimentary, right? Like, the globe Earth has a positive claim, has the burden of proof, axial rotation, the metrics of the size, orbital trajectory, etc. None of it's ever been substantiated.
The actual truth of this statement is, none of this has been substantially proven to your specific, usually impossible liking. Try it any time with a flat earther. No matter how much proof you provide, their response will always be not good enough. They will demand more. They will raise the bar and shift the goalpost until you fall off the edge of their stupid pizza land. Why? Because reality is too scary for them.
And just to top all of this off, we observe that the sun and the moon are the same size in the sky. They try to tell you this is just a coincidence and that the moon is actually 400 times smaller than the sun, and coincidentally exactly 400 times closer, and that's why it looks like they're the same size in the sky.
Actually, we don't observe that. Have you ever actually seen an eclipse, Austin? The sun and moon have a tiny relative size difference, the moon appearing to be 94.4% of the sun's size. And here's the thing about coincidences, Austin. They do exist. Sometimes that is the answer, and the reason you don't want to accept it is because it's anticlimactic. Lower your expectations, idiot.
In addition, we only see one side of the moon ever for always in the entirety of the history of mankind. And they tell you this is also just a coincidence because of tidal locking, and it has a perfect rotational speed to where we only see one half of it.
Explain libration then.
Okay, and yeah, 66,600 miles per hour on a 66.6 degree tilt with 0.666 degree curvature. Oh yeah, that's probably a coincidence.
Yes, it is a coincidence because I don't care about magic numbers. Your fantasy horn demon in the corner is irrelevant to me. Next.
Okay, so clearly this was a lie crafted to detach you from the truth, and what the implications of that, is speculative and then thus subjective, but it's very simple. Why are you using God to prove a flat earth? I literally haven't used God to prove a flat earth at all. Once again, a perfect example of the very low IQ responses you get from Globe.
Then why were your only positive claims ones lifted from the Bible? All of your poking holes in heliocentrism has in fact fallen apart, though you fail to realize it, and once again your alternative is mudmen in a snow globe made by a wizard.
Earthers that are in full panic mode as I casually dismantled their religion, okay? Flat Earth proves God. I didn't have to use God to prove Flat Earth. The Earth proves that. I don't know if you've been listening. I'm assuming you don't have a very, good attention span. You may be lacking in comprehension skills as well, but...
Ad hominem fallacy, boy.
Yeah, we went out and tested the claim of curvature. We have 25-mile laser tests, 30-mile laser tests. We have long-distance observations of over 200, 300, 400 miles. And we've...
All disproven.
Taken observations over 10 miles, with the horizon over 10 miles away from 1 foot off the ground. When the necessitation of the claim of the...
Literally reciting a script. You can tell because he knew how big of a breath to take. I'm not listening to an idiot be an actual parrot on camera.
Globe Earthers will constantly point to the sky to try to explain to you how the Earth is a ball. So we falsified the claim of curvature because there's a lack of physicality. Yet Globe Earthers will be like, oh, look at the stars.
Says the people who film out-of-focus stars with a consumer-grade camcorder and say it's a water droplet on a magical dome. You haven't falsified anything, and astronomy observations are just the icing on the cake of the mountain of evidence we already have. Hell, Jupiter alone has direct evidence of axial rotation, gas pressure without a container, and gravitational orbits.
Because they're not very bright. That's simply what it comes down to. And some globe earthers are decently smart, but confirmation bias and cognitive dissonance, has no IQ bias, so it's that simple.
Cognitive dissonance? You mean like believing you falsified 2,000 years of scientific work while the evidence against you is staring you in the face everywhere you go? Uh-huh.
It's in the Bible, but you can make an intelligent argument about many of the lies you've been fed without referencing the Bible. Once again, a very non-specific, vague recollection, trying to critique the way that I'm explaining this information, but not capable of actually offering any substantive rebuttal. So it's pretty pathetic, the state of affairs of these globers. It's actually quite laughable.
Austin, I'm pretty sure that guy was on your side. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like he was saying Flat Earth is in the Bible, but the Bible isn't needed to prove Flat Earth. You're so addicted to the online arguing and debate world that you just jump down the throat of your own side, you spastic moron.
Something else you'll find is they'll talk real big behind their keyboard, but they'll never show their face on camera and debate in live time. Amanda Angela, if you want to debate on my YouTube live time, you're more than invited to, but we all know that you will not do so, because you can't.
Oh, really? None of us? Really? Well, here I am, Austin. Your channel or mine, doesn't matter to me. Here's my face, here's my voice. Bring it, fallacy boy.
I'm on your side, wasn't rebuking it. Okay, well, I didn't even use the Bible one single time, so I don't know what you're talking about.
What an idiot.
I'm here for a giggle. So funny to watch a guy spout absolute nonsense for half an hour. Think about what that dude just said. This dude has watched me talk on camera, another male, for half an hour. What a clown. He thinks I'm stupid and he's watching me talk on camera for half an hour. What a loser. Textbook gamma. Please don't be that guy.
Wait. So indulging in entertainment makes you a clown? And what does it matter that you're both male? Why does that matter, Austin? That thin veil ain't hiding your repressed feelings, boy.
Due to perspective, you can only see so far. It's called a limit of perspective. If you stare at the end of a long hallway, eventually things will become obstructed. You won't be able to see them anymore, and it'll look like the sky or the roof, the ceiling, and the floor are converging. It's just a similar limit of perspective. Same thing if you stand at the end of a long railroad, right? So our limit of perspective is simply relative to observer height and atmospheric conditions and angular resolution. It's very simple.
Except with the law of perspective, parallel lines will never intersect. The sun would never disappear halfway under the horizon. Now he's trying to use a first-year art lesson as proof of the shape of the Earth. Ever notice how WitsIt won't engage in any science that requires him to learn something complicated?
Like the people that they revere as like globe Earth heroes, I've already dismantled them in debate, right? Like I debated McToon and dismantled him, and he claimed he won, and the Globers doubled down and claimed that they won. So what a joke.
Everyone's wrong except me!
Please talk about how Venus is visible at midnight now. It's a globe impossibility. Yeah, sure, there's all kinds of globe impossibilities. I like to stick to the terrain, though, because that's Glover's favorite move, is to point at the sky.
And the Oscar goes to...
Hey, look at that. He very obviously went beyond his depth and then faked his way through it. I mean, honestly, Neil Breen's acting is better.
I cannot believe you committed suicide.
Simple question. What do the governments of the world got to gain from telling the world the earth is round? I've already covered that. I don't know how long you've been here, Barry. But, what adults do is they establish what the truth is, and then they go from there. They do not turn their head to the truth until they feel they can adequately explain the motivation for someone lying to you about what the truth actually is. So we have established through empirical means.
Translation. I don't know. That question is too hard for my brain to handle right now. Austin doesn't have anything of substance to say from here on in, but I think we get the point, don't we? His foundation. Arrogance, ignorance, and an ultimate need to feel superior to others, even those who agree with you. His tools, endless rhetoric, buzzwords, and grade school philosophy. His mind, made up. Here's the simple question that I would ask Austin, and this will tell us whether or not he's able to argue in good faith. Austin, answer me this. Is it possible, however remote that possibility might be, is it possible that you are wrong? I await your answer.
If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. If you want to support me further, consider becoming a member or a patron, or checking out my merch or my Amazon links. Thank you, and I will see you over the curve, Space Cowboys.
In a vast cosmic arena. Our imagined self-importance